This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
The following podcast sometimes offers unusual solutions to usual problems. These solutions are meant for qualified agencies or individuals to put into action. And I'd be willing to bet that's not you. Listen, folks, we don't take ourselves too seriously. Neither should you. So, let's go have a laugh. Welcome to Unscrew It Up. We are the show that gives you differently twisted solutions to life's little problems. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, Josh.
We are back. It's been a while.
We had the holidays. We had sickness, we had the holidays, we had a break, and now we're back ready to unscrew up 2024.
So what would you like to unscrew up today?
Well, I'd like to unscrew up football because the Super Bowl is coming and because you told me that's what I was unscrewing up.
No, come on. You're excited about this one. You like football.
I do like football. I sit in this weird space of, I love college football. I don't like NFL football. I like college football because there's an alma mater, there's history, there's all of this stuff behind it. And I went to a high school that did not have a great football team. Did your high school have a football team?
They did. It was a tiny Christian school in Miami that was known mostly for their baseball. Yeah. They actually did rather well with baseball. Football, not so much.
No. Yeah. So my school didn't have a great football team, but also we all went to football. Like it was the thing that we did on Friday nights. And so that was really fun for me. And then when I went to UF, my dad said, you have to get student tickets. And I said, I'm not really into it. And he was like, no, let me tell you. And my dad was a big Gator fan. And you will always appreciate that you did. And so I got student tickets and I went to all the games when I was a student, and so much fun. So I really like football. It was the one thing that my dad and I really kind of bonded on, and we could talk about it. And we talked every Saturday for games. But also I feel so bad because I know how bad it is and how brutal it is. And so I have this dichotomy of football.
So I bonded with my dad over football as well. And that was literally the only thing that we could talk to each other about. I grew up in Miami, and so it was all Dolphins and then later the Hurricanes. And the Dolphins had a good run with Dan Marino, particularly early in his tenure there. And then the Hurricanes had a nice run in the early 2000s. But then since then, they're just disappointing me. All of the things.
Have you seen the Gators? I think we even got a new coach. I don't even know where this guy came from. I was surprised. You know who told me we had a new coach? Instagram. I didn't even know.
Wait, a new coach this year?
Yeah, like Napier, bye-bye, like some new person.
Did not know that. Hey, we just broke it here on Unscrew It Up.
Yeah.
So we are going to address, I guess, all levels of football. We're going to address the fan experience. We're going to address the gameplay experience, just whatever tickles our fancy that needs to be changed about football. And so let's do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wilsons will now unscrew it up. Football, America's pastime. And we just talked about how much we were invested in it. So I have 4 changes in football that I think will change it for the better. Amanda, how many do you have?
I have 4.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to give a total of 8 things, and we may actually even spontaneously come up with more. And then we're going to whittle it down to 5 things. We're going to take those 5 things. We're not going to make them happen. We are just research and development. We're going to send them off to someone, a person or an organization, and they are going to make it happen for us. Would you like to know who we're sending it to?
Do you know?
I do.
Okay. Who are we sending it to?
We're sending...
Dan Marino.
No. We are sending these to Janet Jackson.
What has she done for me lately? That made me so
Very good. Okay. All right. So, Amanda, you didn't do that on purpose, did you?
I didn't, but it's funny.
Oh, my
Why
God.
Janet Jackson?
Well, she has a history of football. Don't you remember?
Wait, are you referencing her wardrobe malfunction in Justin Timberlake at the Super Bowl halftime show?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's just a glorified concert, right? Like, that's not actual football.
It's not really glorified even because
Right.
they're lip syncing.
Okay.
So Janet Jackson is going to take our suggestions and she's going to fix football. So, Amanda, please do go first.
Okay, so my first one is about the fan experience because that's really where I live with football, right? And I've never been to a pro game. You have. You've been to Dolphin Stadium. You've been to pro games.
Yes, I've been to a lot of Dolphins games back when it was in what was called Joe Robbie Stadium, and it's since had about 20 billion different names.
Is it even still standing, or it's like a whole other stadium
No,
now?
it still exists.
Okay. I have only ever been to college football games or high school and college football games. Now, you went to UM games?
Yes, and first in the Orange Bowl and then in that same Dolphin Stadium.
Now, are they different? Did you find that the NFL experience is different than the college experience?
Oh, very much so.
How so?
Yeah. Well, the college experience, they were a lot more excited. They were a lot more into it. The stadium, the Orange Bowl, was basically on top of the players. So it was a very intimate experience in that way. So I just found it to be more exciting.
Okay. So my experience with going to college games is there seems to be very stereotypical and dichotomous fan bases, right? And so you can either sit with, like, you're sitting here at UF, there's the student section, and then there's the people who pay for the seats. And this is how different it is. The student sections, no seat backs, just benches. When you pay for the seats, you get seat backs. Now, we have been very fortunate to have been invited to go to some very fancy club level seats where you go in, you have a nice buffet, there's a bar, you come back out, you sit in a shaded area, and you have said you're never going back to football again unless this is how you get to experience it.
Well, see, I'm a little different because it's not like I'm automatically a Gator fan. So when you go to any sort of box seats or anything like that, you're not going for the football game.
Right.
When we went that time and got those seats, I watched maybe 10 minutes of the game, and the rest of the time I wandered from buffet table to buffet table,
Right.
just pigging out.
Right.
So.
Right. So there's lots of levels of experience. And so there's the student section, there's the people who are really happy to be there. Then you get caught up in the fraternity and the sorority section, and there's very tiny clothes on some of the people, including the male fraternity people with all the body paint. And then there's the really, even though it's a dry stadium, they're really, except in the club level seats, really drunken people. And there's just all different kinds of areas. And so I am proposing that there needs to be some sort of filtering system, like the sorting hat for Harry Potter. And I think I've said this before, but you go in, it puts the hat on you, or it's the helmet as it were, and it says, what kind of fan are you? Are you obnoxious? Do you have problems with all of the coaching? Then you go over here with all the people who think they can coach better. Are you just here to look cute and get on the Jumbotron? Okay, you go to this section. Are you here to, like, drink your snuck in vodka and then vomit on somebody? You go to this section. I feel like the stadium needs to be sectioned out by the type of fan you are.
Okay, so I don't think it's a phenomenal idea to take all of the aggressive people and put them in one section unless the section is underneath the stadium. Now, I do think it's a good idea to put all of the drunk people together, because then you just need to get a big fire hose and just hose down that section after the game. Right. I don't know about this football segregation, though.
So let me tell you. So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I went to the Peach Bowl, right?
Okay,
in Atlanta.
sure.
I don't actually know if that's what it was called at the time. These bowl games, man, That should be one I have. Bowl games having ridiculous names. Let's fix the bowl game issue. Because there's like the Emerald Almond Diamond Nut Bowl and the CarMax Car Wash Bowl. But anyway, Florida was playing Alabama, and they were playing at the Georgia Dome. And a friend of mine and I went, and she and I scalped tickets. Like, we bought tickets on the sidewalk. And we were in the middle of all of these Alabama fans. And they could not have been more polite and more nice to us.
Oh, that's very nice.
And we lost horribly. Like, we walked out going, it's okay, we're a basketball school. Like, it was just real bad. But they were so kind. Now, were they kind to us because we were two, like, early 20 cute girls and, like, no guys? I don't know. But, I mean, that was nice. Like, they were nice to us. But it's still, depending on where you sit and who you sit around, it can be a harrowing experience.
Okay, so you propose a sorting hat for fans.
Yes.
All right. My first football suggestion is the name football.
You don't like the name? Well, it's confusing.
It is.
F-U-T-B-O-L.
Well, no, it's not even that. First of all, none of the two parts of that word are right.
Well,
you rarely use
the ball.
Foots the ball. You rarely use your foot, and it ain't a ball. Right?
It's an oblong ball.
No. It looks like a brown symmetrical banana, right? It is not a ball. It is so far from being a ball. So we need to come up with a new name for this game. And I have some ideas, right?
It's a pointy oval.
Yes. Hand pointy oval does not roll off the tongue. All right. So I came up with some names. This is not quite top 10. This is just whatever I could come up with. Yardage chess.
Okay, not incorrect. Go ahead.
Tackle ballet.
It's not as tough as ballerinas. Okay.
All right. Smash checkers.
That's my favorite.
I also did a bit of a throwback to some of the games that we grew up with. Maybe they would give us good names. Like, how about Connect Four Downs?
Oh, that's good.
Hungry Lineman.
Yes, good. Excellent. Good.
Shoots and linebackers.
Okay, good.
Quarterback gammon.
Backgammon is not a game we grew up with. Okay.
Well, it's a game I grew up with. So anyway, I'm just trying to come up with a different name that's a little bit more accurate. And I think maybe I'm going to go with Smash Checkers.
Okay, well, I also am putting out High Stakes Red Rover.
It's very good. Let me write that down. High Stakes Red Rover. Very good. We got to come up with a new name, though. Got to come up with a new name. Because football ain't it.
Yep.
And it's being used by someone else, by the way. And of all of the names that we could have borrowed from our friends across the ocean, football, American football, that is a lot closer to rugby than it is to soccer. So I don't know why they didn't just grab onto a version of that name, like American rugby. Although I think that exists. I don't know. But football ain't it. All right. What's your first or second thing?
So my next one addresses the actual gameplay itself. And one thing that we know that football is a dangerous sport. More and more is coming out about cognitive issues, brain injuries, repeated brain injuries. More and more athletes are donating their brains to science and learning more about brain atrophy. Okay, so this is a thing. One thing that drives me nuts and has always driven me nuts is when they smack each other on the helmets after they do a good play. Like, they smack each other on the bottoms, but then they hit each other on the helmets, right? Don't make this face. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I didn't make a face.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. They just smack each other around in the helmets, right? Yeah. Okay, not a good idea. We're already slamming our heads into things. We don't need repeated head injuries because your teammate's excited and smacking you. I don't know how to fix this, so I propose that helmets act as sort of the collar we put on our dog so he doesn't bark?
Elizabethan collar.
No. Like the buzzy collar.
Oh, because I was imagining you were saying that they should play football with Elizabeth.
Oh, I might like this. Yes. Actually, I think this is a good idea. Big bubble things. I should have just bubble wrapped their helmets. Yes. Is what I should have done with goggles in it. But I think that in order to break this, the helmet should have some sort of, my uncle had cows.
Oh, where is this going?
And the cows had an electric fence.
Okay.
And my cousin and I learned the hard way that when you run into the electric fence, it will shock you. Okay. Our parents just let us out to play in the field with the cows, and we electric fence, and we touch it and shock. So here I'm saying that the helmet should provide some sort of negative reinforcement for all the smacking around that they do on each other's heads. Now, we have the collar for the dog that just beeps at him. It doesn't make him, it vibrates, right? It doesn't shock him. Maybe that'll work, maybe it wouldn't, but we need to come up with some deterrent so when somebody but the wearer of the helmet doesn't feel it. It's like a shock electricity, like when when it's cold and you touch somebody, like today you kissed me and we had a little like spark, right? Not in the sexy time romantic way, but like the shock electricity way. And it needs that. We got to deter them from doing extra head damage.
So let me get this straight.
Yes, sir.
You want to solve the problem of, not the problem of concussions from slamming your head against each other's bodies or against each other's helmets. No. But you don't want to solve that problem.
No.
You just want them to stop patting each other on the head.
They're not
afterwards.
patting. They're smacking hard, or they're headbutting. Either way, they need to stop it.
Okay. Sure. Good. Electric helmets, not so they can't hurt each other with their bodies or their other helmets, but just so that they won't hit each other with their hands. Okay. Let's move quickly along.
Go ahead. You solve the problems of the world.
All right. Here's the thing about a lot of team sports. It's just inevitable that the game's going to go on a little bit too long and you're going to find it boring. Or someone who doesn't know the extremely complicated rules of football might find it boring. Mm. Or the kids, if they're not so into it, they might find it boring. Sometimes you look at the uniforms and the uniforms are a bit boring.
Okay.
We got to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, electric helmets, spicing it up.
No. So I propose that every team dress as their mascots.
I'm now
cool
picturing
would
giant
that
gators playing giant dolphins.
Okay, and you love a parade.
No, they wouldn't be dolphins. What, a hurricane?
Yes, I mean, we'd have to work on some. It would be a giant, foam hurricane, right?
Well, aren't they also like an ibis or something? Ibis,
yes.
Okay, giant white bird.
You love a parade, right?
I do love a parade.
It would be delightful and also just not even a little bit funny, right?
Well, also, they probably wouldn't be hurting their heads as much.
Here's the thing. It would likely cut down on injuries because the costumes, a lot of them would be big. Yeah. Imagine people in a bunch of Disney mascot costumes playing football. They're not going to hurt each other. No. They're not going to hurt each other at all. So there we go. Imagine less injuries and just imagine watching that. It would be transfixing. You would not be able to turn away.
Yeah, I like this idea. I want it to happen right now.
All right. So dressing as mascots.
Send that right along to Janet Jackson. I think it's a great idea. And then we don't need the electric shock therapy helmets.
Which, by the way, the other idea I had that was kind of along with that was this idea of maybe each team should have special abilities or powers based on what their mascot is.
So the Gators could run really fast, but only in a straight line.
That's right. And the Dolphins would be screwed. I mean, there would be no one for them to play, really. Yeah. I used to listen to a radio program that had a guy from the local, it was a sports radio program that would have a guy from the local zoo come. And one of the segments that he would do is he would determine if the teams were the mascots, like how they would do against. Win? Yeah. And so
that's fascinating.
Well, I did. So I went through and I took all the professional football mascots and I split them up into different categories, right? Mm-hmm. And so we have your air-based mascots that are animals, the Falcons, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals. And out of those, you figure that
Cardinals are not winning. Nothing.
Cardinals are screwed. So you figure, I don't really know what a Seahawk is.
Well, is it a real thing?
I don't know, but I would think that like the Eagles would have it. The Eagles are Falcons, but I would say Eagles would have it up. So they would come out of that bracket, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the ground-based animal mascots, right?
Okay, so it's Lions,
Buffalo Bills, Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, Cincinnati Bengals, Denver Broncos, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, a lot of cat-based ones. Los Angeles Rams, Indianapolis Colts, right? So the Colts are like
the
young,
Broncos.
young horses, though.
Yeah,
So
they're over there. No.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win. A lot of cat-based ones, like I said. But if you had between Panthers, Jaguars, Lions, and Tigers are the biggest, right? So the Bengals, they would win. Bears, I think, would be hard to beat.
Can a bear beat a Bengal?
I don't know.
Call the guy from the Miami Zoo.
I think maybe they can. Bears, you don't mess with bears.
You don't mess with bears.
No.
All right, Chicago's going through.
But then the
Super
Buffalo
Bowl shuffle.
Wait, hang on. The Buffalo Bills, though. I mean, you've got these massive.
Buffalo are big.
They could trample them. By the way, Buffalo Bills are the only ones that their city name is their mascot, and I don't know where Bills comes from.
Wait, their city name is their mascot?
Buffalo. They're Buffaloes.
No, that's not their mascot. That's their team. They play in Buffalo.
Right.
They're the Buffalo Bills.
Right, friend. But have you seen their helmets?
No.
The picture on the helmet? Buffaloes. What did you think was a picture of a Bill? Like Bill Clinton?
I don't know.
They're definitely not going to win then. Los Angeles Rams, they'd have a good defense, but let's put the Bears through.
Okay.
Right?
All right. So we've got the
Eagles and the Bears.
The Eagles and the Bears. Got it.
Okay, and already the Bears are going to beat the Eagles.
Philadelphia versus who are these? Chicago. Got it.
Right. But the Eagles have no chance against Bears.
Well, they can fly away and just sit way on up there. Bears can't get them.
You got to engage, friend. That means you've not seen two football teams with one turntail and run away. Not happen.
Okay.
All right, like I said, then you have the single water-based mascot, Dolphins. They're screwed.
That's it.
Bye. They got no
Don't
chance.
play
Ain't going to happen. Even if they manage to get the bear into the water, they got no chance, right? Yeah. Then, interesting bracket here, you've got the human-based mascot, right? But a lot of these folks have guns, right?
Okay, a Buccaneer's got a gun.
The Patriots, the Buccaneers, the Vikings, the Saints.
Vikings don't have guns.
They don't. I'm just reading the list of human-based mascots.
I'll stop yelling at you now.
The Steelers, the 49ers, the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Raiders, right?
How are the Chiefs still allowed to be the Chiefs?
Yeah, I don't know. This is not that podcast,
okay.
Right? So I would say
Vikings, dude. Minnesota's going all the way. Vikings are some nasty people you don't want to mess with.
Right, but they don't have guns, so they're gone.
Okay,
so we got the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Buccaneers, the Raiders, and the Patriots. Patriots have like old guns.
Muskets.
It ain't gonna happen, right?
What do Buccaneers have?
I think
they have swords. They're like swashbucklers.
They got no chance.
They're done. And then the Vikings have left.
Okay, so you may ask yourself, well, what about the Houston Texans? It doesn't say Houston Texans that have guns. It could just be like just a regular person, like someone who works at a grocery store. And while they may have guns...
That is not their defining piece of their personality.
No, well,
and what might be.
And
I don't
maybe
know.
it is, but I'm not going to say.
Maybe the Texans have guns.
So I'm saying out of these folks, maybe the Commanders, because
what are they?
They're Washington Commanders,
right? But what do they look like? What do they have?
Well, they're commanders. They're military. Right?
Okay, like contemporary military or like Patriots?
They just made the name, so right. I'm saying that it's
so then they
day.
got like RPGs and like.
Role-playing games?
What are like missiles or whatever?
Yeah, just say missiles then, because I don't know either. But I know that it's not role-playing games. Right. So
maybe they do. You don't know.
If we have the Bears against the Commanders, I'm saying the Commanders
come out ahead. Yeah.
Which, by the way, this is only going to happen in this mythical world. Commanders ain't winning squat in the league this year. Then we have like these ground-based Commanders against the Jets. Right?
Oh, do we have anything else that's like mechanical?
No, the Jets are the only mechanical thing. So they're automatically going to beat all of these jokers, right?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Now we're going to like mythical beings.
Okay.
Giants.
Okay.
Which
Giants still aren't going to beat a Jet, though.
Yeah, I think the Jets have it all over the Giants. But how about the Titans, Tennessee Titans? The Titans are the pre-Olympian gods. They preceded Zeus
gods.
and them.
No,
right?
The gods are winning.
Right. So
Zeus and them. It's like your mom and them, but Zeus and them.
Right. So we've got the Titans. Now, the only other teams that are left, we've got the Chargers, which is a non-physical being. It's just electricity, right?
I thought the Chargers were a horse.
I don't know, dude. You look on their helmet, it's a lightning bolt.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. If it's a
then
horse,
that's like who's the god of lightning? Thor?
I think that's only in Marvel.
Okay.
But doesn't matter because I still think that the Titans would win, right?
Are they taking it all?
Well, we've got one team left I don't know what to do with.
Okay. Who are they?
The Browns.
What is that?
What the hell is a Brown?
Is it Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland Browns.
What is it?
What is it?
So I have a friend from work who lives in Cleveland. They're big Cleveland Brown fans. They used to live in Tampa. They came back to Tampa for the holidays. They went and found the Tampa-based Cleveland Browns meetup and went to it. So I got an inside scoop. I'll find out for us. Stay tuned. Next podcast, I'll let you know what a Cleveland Brown is.
Because on the face of it, it's just a color. And the only way I can see this working is if we make the Titan wear something brown and that doesn't happen to be their color. So and there's just so not like I can't play today. You expect me to play?
I'm so upset.
This is not my color. It does not bring out my eyes. I'm not going to play.
So you know how in the university system, when you graduate from the university, there is each of your tassels, like whatever college you're in is a different color.
Yeah.
So College of Ed was like a baby blue color. My undergrad is in the College of Fine Arts.
Yes.
Fine Arts tassel is brown. I was very upset by it.
No one was thinking.
If anybody needed a rainbow tassel, it was the College of Fine Arts.
Right? Love that. Yep.
Brown, horrible. I was upset by it.
Okay, so all of that came off of dressing as mascots. We just
so good. All that you just did was so good.
All right, so what's your next thing?
My next thing is kind of on the game going on for so long, but it's those games where, there's what's called the paycheck game, where school, this is specifically for college, but where schools will come and play a really unmatched team, because they're just coming for the paycheck, right? And so it's really a time for the home team to play their second, third, fourth string, get their bench up. But have you ever seen those games where it's just so high scoring, it seems like one side of the score is a basketball score? I think that baseball has this figured out and football needs to institute the mercy rule. Because the mercy rule is in baseball when it has been going on for, I don't know, it's like X amount of innings, right? It has to hit X amount of innings. And I don't know if this is an MLB or it's just college. Because again, my sports base is college based. But I think it's anything after the fifth inning. It might be the seventh, but I think it's after the fifth. And there's X amount of discrepancy or a span between the scores, right? Then you just call the mercy rule and you stop playing. I think this is good because once you get up so far ahead where no other team can play, these things happen. So one team just starts trying to show off. The team that's winning just tries to drive up the score. And then all of these things can happen. One, the coach gets a bad rap for trying to drive up the score. And then two, you're just giving your players more opportunity to get hurt. So I think we just need to call it a day, institute the mercy rule for football.
Get this.
Yes.
It exists.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Have we just never hit it?
The NCAA's mercy rule provides any time during the game, the playing time of any remaining period or periods, and the intermission between halves may be shortened by mutual agreement of the opposing head coaches and the referee.
So just nobody ever agrees on this.
Oh, no,
it's never seen it happen.
No, wait. The most recent example of an NCAA football game shortened by invoking this rule occurred October 1st, 2022.
Really?
When the Syracuse Orange played the
another color.
Played the Wagner Seahawks.
Okay.
The mismatched Wagner team trailed the 4-0 Syracuse team 49-0 at halftime, right?
Okay.
So they're probably not going to
coming back.
In the second half, the coaches and the referee agreed to 10-minute quarters, and the Syracuse head coach made the controversial choice of leaving some of his starters in late into the second half.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is not good. It's not smart.
The final score of the game was 59-0, but they shortened the game.
I did not know that existed. Did you know?
I looked up, didn't know it was a thing. September 1st, 2018, it happened. September 24th, 2016. So it's happened quite a few times. But the thing is these are not games that you would have heard of, like that you would have cared to hear of. So yeah, it's happened a lot as I'm seeing.
Okay, well then let's make it more like every day.
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't think it's smart to keep leaving these people in and giving them a chance to get hurt. I just don't think it's smart.
I mean, that goes back to the whole entire game of football, but whatever. All right. Okay. My next thing. I have a severe dislike for the dictator gas bag coach.
Okay. I'm aware of your feelings about Nick Saban.
Right, but I mean, any coach, who like rules from Zeus on high, the almighty coach, he can berate his players. He his word is law, all of this nonsense. I just don't believe it. I think that coaching, while it does lend itself to success in football, that it should and rightly is all about the players.
Okay.
And not the coach.
Agreed. Okay. But they need some sort of leadership and guidance.
Yes. So, but I'm saying that you change the role of the coach to the guy who prepares them and gets them ready. Right?
Like the butler?
No, the guy
the
who
valet.
He runs the. No, I'm not saying dresses them. No, but he runs.
You said get them ready. My mind went to helping them get in their mascot costumes.
He runs the practices. He runs everything during the week, right? Yes. But then during the game, there are a set of plays that are offered in each possibility, and the fans vote on the plays in the moment.
You've made it American Idol.
No, I've made it. We're doing two things. Number one, we're taking it out of the hands of the coach, who probably doesn't deserve as much credit anyway. The coach's job should happen from Monday morning to Sunday right before the game, right? Mm-hmm. And then further, to make the game, more interesting to the fans, we've got, I don't know how many hundreds upon thousands upon millions of football fans. I guarantee you that the collected wisdom, right, of thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people picking a play is going to equal or sometimes be better than one 75-year-old man doddering across the sideline.
True enough.
So there you go. Fans vote in the plays. The players may have the right to one or two vetoes during the game because they might see something that the fans don't see. And again, I think that the players should have a say. But that's what I suggest, that you change the role of the coach and you elevate the fan experience so that they can choose the plays.
So they have like little buttons at their seat? What?
Yeah, sure. It's an app. There's an app for that.
Okay. All right. Well, I have my last one, and it kind of goes along with that. But this just in real time, I texted my friend who lives in Cleveland.
Yes.
And said, what is a Brown?
Yes.
According to my friend, it was named after their first owner. So the first owner of the Browns was the last name Brown.
Right. I think it was Paul Brown, if I'm remembering.
But their mascot is a dog. Probably a brown dog.
Okay. I don't know who would do better then. Like an old owner of a football team or a little brown dog, but definitely would put them way back in the list.
Right. Okay. My last one is, so you don't like the gas bag coach, and I get that.
Yeah.
What I don't like is the armchair quarterback. And I've experienced a lot of this, or the armchair coach. So I've experienced a lot of it being in college stadiums where people feel that they know what plays should be called, what should be executed on the field. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of just being so insistent that they know what should happen. And I think that, fine, then let's put like that expertise on display. And during the halftime, instead of the band, instead of the Dr. Pepper where you throw the football through the thing and win all the money, we're going to institute basically the Hunger Games for people who think they should be coaches. And they're going to get a team, and the other people are going to get a team, and they're going to be let go in the stadium, and then they're going to have the 20-minute halftime or 30 minutes, whatever it is, to just fight it out, not to the death like the Hunger Games, but just fight it out and see who is a better coach, and then they can go on coaching from the stands. But that's what drives me nuts. Are all the people in the stands? It's like, well, what have you coached? What have you played? It's very easy to sit up here. So I'm kind of like bumping against all of the collective knowledge of the fans and they can all choose. But I think until you are in the role of the player or the coach, you can't say it.
This sounds like the weirdest idea for a farm team, like, to find coaches.
Yeah.
This is the American Idol version of coaching. You realize, right? So
it's like low stakes. Well, maybe high stakes.
So they go from halftime coaches to then they can be high school football coaches. And
they got to start at like what is it? What's the little
Pop Warner?
Warner. Yeah. They got to start there. Flag football.
I'm amending my idea of having the fans call the plays. If you don't like that idea, I actually think it would be an interesting idea to, once the game starts, then the players are on their own. So
you train them up. So that is like the Hunger Games. You train them up.
So the coach's job is to get them ready during the week, and then during the game, then the coach prepared them. You go do it now. Like we taught you the plays, we've taught you this. You guys go figure it out. That actually might be very interesting.
All right, I'm supportive of this.
Okay, all right. So that was your last one.
That was my last one.
So here's my last one. The way it is now is that you can have players switch teams, and I've had that happen where like my favorite player has gone to another team. Coaches can get fired, or they can just leave for a better job, right? Or what they perceive to be a better job. In other words, Nick Saban has done that several times, from the college ranks to the pros, back to the colleges. But fans who live in the city have the potential to be stuck with the same crappy team year after year.
Fair enough.
The Detroit Lions, my God.
Sorry, friends in Detroit.
And there's college teams as well who are just going to be bad. I feel like Florida has had their time of being good, and now they're stuck in a bad thing.
Right. Yeah, I mean they really peaked in the 90s and mid 2000s, and now they're done.
I suggest, though, especially on the pro level, because on the college level, you really do have like a changing of the guard every few years, and you do have teams that are good and then not so good, and that happens more often than, again.
Right, sure. People graduate; they have to.
I suggest in the pro level that every 5 years teams switch towns.
Oh, interesting.
Right, and so I've been suffering with these Dolphins for like since the end of the Marino era. For like 20 years or so.
So you want the Chiefs in Miami?
I don't know. I just think that we should just move them around so everyone gets a shot, right? Everyone can have a winning team. Now, it's also, I think, interesting for the teams themselves, because you have teams like the Miami Dolphins, for example. One of the reasons why they get tripped up every year is because this franchise is not used to playing in the cold.
Right.
So even as happened this year, I feel like near the end of the year, we dropped off again. And our last playoff game, we were in like ridiculous weather.
Yeah.
In Kansas City. It was awful. Kansas City players, they're just used to playing in that.
But that happens the other way, where teams come down here and really suffer from the humidity.
Right, but I'm saying if we switch it up, then everyone kind of gets a shot. Like, I think it's only fair that people who are stuck in Green Bay for all of their careers be able to come down as a team and experience nice weather for a change, even in the wintertime. I think it's fair for everyone involved.
Okay.
And then, especially after the first year, you're still going to have players coming down used to playing in the cold. You're going to give that team more of a competitive shot at the end of the year when it gets colder up north and they have to play. And we're just spreading the love all around.
No, I like this idea.
So you still have football towns, but every 5 years or so, new team, fresh start.
Does that mean that the people who are like diehard Browns fans, for instance, then relocate with them?
They have the option of doing that, but of course you can always watch games. And let me tell you the truth. The percentage of people who love a team who actually go to a game, very small.
Yeah.
And probably getting smaller all the time.
Yeah.
Because people just want to watch things in the comfort of their own home. So I don't think for the majority of fans it would make that much of a difference, except they would be able to say, oh my goodness, This year, the Miami Chiefs, my team, won the Super Bowl.
That's right. Okay. Well, I'm all for that. Before we end, can I tell you the thing that I know I learned about football this week? My new football trivia knowledge.
Go ahead.
Travis Kelce, net worth less than Taylor Swift's cat.
I'm sorry. I'm boggled more by the fact that Taylor Swift's cat has a net worth.
Apparently she does, and her name is Olivia Benson, which is fabulous because that's the detective from Law and Order SVU. But anyway, this is what I know about football this week.
Okay, good one. All right. Well, we have these 8 things that we need to whittle down to 5 and send over to Janet, Miss Nasty, to fix. I don't think that's what her name is. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
It's Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Whatever. I'm Mr. Nasty, Miss Jackson.
Oh, God.
All right. So we have 8. Do you want me to remind you what they are?
No, I got this.
Sorting. Well, let me remind the people. Sorting hat for fans so that we can have different sections.
I want that.
A new name for the game of football because it ain't football. It's smack checkers or smash checkers, whatever I said. Or hungry linebackers. That's my favorite. Helmets have some sort of electrical charge so that people can't hit each other on the head, but not during the game, after the game.
I don't like the celebratory head smacks. I don't like them.
Dressing as their mascots. Instituting a mercy rule. Kind of should take that up. That already exists. We're going to take that one off. So that's not one of our choices.
Clearly,
all right.
I don't do research.
Coaches should not have such a prominent position on game day, whether you have people calling plays or whether you have the players themselves calling plays. That should be how it is. Hunger Games with armchair quarterbacks, which is fascinating to me. And then teams switch cities every 5 years. So which one would you like to put through
I need
first?
them all to play as their mascot.
Oh, very good. Very good. I can't wait to see that.
And that alleviates a lot of the injuries.
It does, as I said, yes. Well, that was going to be the first one that I chose. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the demotion of the coach to just a during the week team manager who just gets them ready.
All right. I'm going to vote for the sorting hat for fans because I have been with some just really obnoxious fans. So.
Very good. Very good. I think I would like for football to have a new name.
Okay.
Whatever it may be.
All right. And
then the last one
I'm voting for team switching cities.
Oh, excellent. I love that.
All right, Janet, get on it.
I will say, though, that I do kind of like the Hunger Game coaching idea. That just sounds interesting to me. But this is what we have. The fans come in. They have a new team because this is year number 6, right? So year 1 through 5, they had the Detroit Lions. Now in year 6, it is now the Detroit Packers.
There you go.
Whatever. They come in. They are sorted into their requisite sections so that they can come in and watch a rousing game of tackle ballet. We have the players all on the field. They're ready to play. Coaches, they've gone home. Don't need them.
Right.
Don't need them. And we've got the New England Patriots dressed up in red, white, and blue to play the Miami Dolphins as they are
Are they just flopping on the
flopping
ground?
around the field. There you go. That's this new game.
I will watch this.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it, baby. All right. Well, Amanda, I think that we've taken football and we have
unscrewed it up.
If you have anything you would like for us to unscrew up, shoot us an email at unscrewitup@gmail.com. All right, Amanda, I think we've unscrewed up all that we can unscrew up for today. I think that if we keep going, we just might make football a little bit worse, so we got to stop.
No, we're good. We've peaked. Let's be done. Right now, we are worth more than Taylor Swift's cat. Let's go.
Are we?
No, no one is.
How much could Taylor Swift's cat possibly be worth?
Well, I just looked it up. Travis Kelce has a net worth of $40 million.
Yes.
Taylor Swift's cat, Olivia Benson, $97 million.
How do they determine that?
Like
how much she'd be willing to pay if someone took it hostage?
I don't know. It's because she's been in numerous music videos. So therefore, I guess it's her royalties. I don't
Rubbish.
know.
All right, I don't feel like talking anymore. I'm just sad. All right, folks, as you go throughout your week, just remember, whatever you do,
don't screw it up.
Bye.
Bye.